leadership that transforms a nation. Ian, we often think that's impossible today, but what if I told you there was once a president who went from being shot during a speech to finishing that same 84-minute speech, all while revolutionizing what government could do?
PAPPY. That's such an incredible way to think about Theodore Roosevelt. And here's what amazes me: he wasn't even elected to his first term, he only became president after McKinley's assassination.
And instead of just being a caretaker president, he completely redefined the office. His square deal policies fundamentally changed how Americans thought about the government's role in society. You know what's fascinating? Before Roosevelt, presidents weren't expected to be these dynamic forces for change.
So, what made him so different from previous presidents? How did he actually put these new ideas into practice?
Well, take the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. Every time we pick up a package and read what's in it, that's Roosevelt. He read The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, sent his own investigators to verify the horrific conditions, and pushed through the first federal food safety regulations. And get this, when J.P. Morgan came to the White House about monopoly regulations, saying, "Send your man to my man to fix it," Roosevelt basically told him, "That's not how government works anymore."
That must have been shocking to business leaders at the time. They weren't used to a president standing up to them like that.
Oh, they called him a traitor to his class, but that's what made him unique. He wasn't afraid to take on anyone. During the coal strike of 1902, he became the first president to mediate a labor dispute. Previous presidents sent troops to break strikes. Roosevelt brought both sides to the White House and wouldn't let them leave until they reached a deal.
You know what fascinates me about Roosevelt? He was this walking contradiction, a big game hunter who became one of history's greatest conservationists.
Exactly. He protected over 230 million acres of public land, created 5 national parks, and established 150 national forests. He understood that if we didn't preserve these spaces, they'd be gone forever. And speaking of contradictions, let's talk about his foreign policy. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Hmm, that phrase seems to capture his whole approach to power.
It really does. He significantly expanded the military and also won the Nobel Peace Prize for negotiating an end to the Russo Japanese War. He sent the Great White Fleet around the world as a show of force, but used that same power to broker peace deals. Even the Panama Canal showed this duality. He supported Panamanian independence fighters while sending warships to prevent Colombian intervention.
That's such a complex legacy to wrestle with. How do you think his approach to leadership would translate to today's world?
Well, consider his response to monopolies. He didn't want to destroy big business, he wanted to regulate it. He believed capitalism needed rules to work correctly. That's incredibly relevant to our current debates about tech companies and corporate power. And his conservation efforts, they're more important than ever as we face climate change.
The way you put that makes me think about how many of our modern assumptions about government's role really started with Roosevelt.
Exactly. And he did it all while living this incredibly adventurous life. He practiced judo in the White House, boxed until a punch left him blind in one eye, and after his presidency, he explored an uncharted river in Brazil. He believed in what he called the strenuous life, the idea that physical and moral courage were connected.
That reminds me, you mentioned him being shot during a speech. What exactly happened there?
Oh, this is incredible. During his Bull Moose Party campaign in 1912, an assassin shot him in the chest. The bullet hit his metal glasses case and folded speech in his pocket, which slowed it down. Instead of going to the hospital, he gave an 84-minute speech starting with, "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you fully understand that I have just been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose."
That story really captures everything about him: the determination, the showmanship, the sheer force of will.
And that force of will changed America permanently. The progressive era reforms he championed, regulation of business, conservation, and consumer protection became fundamental parts of American government. Even when later presidents disagreed with his specific policies, they had to work within the framework he created.
Looking at today's political landscape, PAPPY, it's hard to imagine someone like Roosevelt fitting into either party.
That's because he wasn't bound by ideology, Ian. He was bound by this very personal sense of what was right and fair. He showed that transformation is possible, both personally and politically. Whether you agree with all his methods or not, he proved that one person's vision and determination really can change a nation's direction. And maybe that's his most important legacy, showing that bold leadership can actually work.